Behind the United States, China has the second largest car market in the world. And according to the Wall Street Journal, changes in how the top car makers there operate, or car makers outside of China operate, that is, outsourcing everything from design to component manufacturing to China, will make it much easier for China to join the ranks of globally competitive car producers in far less time than it took Japan and South Korea to do so. And as the chairman of China's car maker, Geely, tells the Journal, how to make cars is no longer a big secret. Charles Chaw is director at China Knowledge Consulting, and he joins us now. Charles, when people talk about the threat that Chinese car makers pose to the global auto industry, that's a threat that's actually quite far out in the future, right? Because right now, the joint ventures that we're seeing in China with the technology transfer that's being happened there are for cars to be made within China itself?
I think many foreign manufacturers or even big brands overseas are concerned with Geely and brands like Chery. They are local car manufacturers, might become a threat to them and be a big player, a competitor. But if you look at the top brands selling in China today, 7 or 8 brands are foreign brands. Right? The 250,000 of car units to be exported this year is not a big concern because big brands still have their competitive advantage. I mean, brand sales these days. But on the other hand, I'm concerned. We've been tracking this industry for 10 years, whether it's auto parts, tires, assemblers. Is that the exports of Geely and Chery might encourage big manufacturers like the GM, Volkswagen, Toyota, Honda, to export from China. Now, these big players, most of them JVs, all right, they are producing cars for domestic markets. Production unit today by China is ranked third in the world. First is, of course, US, second Japan, third is China. While prediction is within 8 years, the production might exceed United States. Now, the purchases, of course, have exceeded Japan. Now it's number 2 in the world. In 5 years, it might catch up United States.
So the threat you're saying actually comes from foreign automakers making their cars in China, shipping them back to the U.S., for example, or to Europe, as opposed to Chinese cars being exported and sold in the United States.
I am not very optimistic that local brands like Geely or Chery would make it like within 5 to 10 years. Now, there are many manufacturers, especially academics and analysts in China, were challenging me, says, hey, Nanova is an example. Now they're third largest in the world, and so on and so forth. Then they quote Korean example, like Hyundai 10, 20 years ago. Nobody buys the brand. There's no resale market. Would China duplicate the model? I don't think so, because building a brand, it doesn't, require a longer time.
Okay. What about the issue of the fact that counterfeit items, are very prevalent in China across a wide variety of sectors and industries, and the car sector is not spared from that as well? If
you're looking for another different perspective, okay, counterfeit, of course, is not healthy. I mean, of course, manufacturers don't like that. But that also implies that Chinese manufacturers can produce almost the same standard. So nothing is impossible to manufacture in China. It is the largest factory of the world. We all acknowledge it. It's a question of would manufacturing the big manufacturers in China would export out from China. That would be a big concern to U.S., to Japan, even South Korea.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming in and telling us about this. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Charles Chaw from the China Knowledge Consulting.